Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are at the Coaches Lounge with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley. So excited to always bring you the Coaches Lounge because this is where what I love to do is spotlight experts, advisors, people that know what they're talking about. People in their own little, little world of what they do as coaches, mentors, and educators for life and in business. I've noticed that, the shows that because I produce other shows, but I never really seen a show that would basically give the love to a coach, to a mentor, to an educator. We're all, we interview all everybody else, the speakers and, authors, which, they're all that too. Sometimes they're rolled up into one. They're like a triple threat. But we never give the love for the people that help us, like myself, because I have coaches. I know you should have a coach. Everybody should have a coach or mentor in their lives to get you to that next level in your life, to tell you to believe in yourself, to continue to monitor and be there for you, especially when those certain days where you're not feeling it. And I know I've been there many days where you have, where you're just like, oh, I got to get up and do this. But then sometimes that coach, that mentor comes in your ear and says, you can do it. I know you can. You're awesome. And they encourage you and they lift you up. And another thing about coaches, most of the time, like I said, they're the experts. They're the ones that have been in the grind. They've been doing their thing in their industry, and they're here to show up for others. So we have a special, special guest today. And when I have the ladies on, I call them queens because I look at them as royalty. We have a wonderful lady. Her name is Brandy Hubbard. She has been in the insurance industry. Now she already, I'm calling her my sister because I have been, even though I do the media and I interview and I've been doing my own network. Yeah. But all the time since I'm the age of, I was just telling Queen Brandy, was age of 16, and we're not going to talk about what age I am now. So, that means you're going to be counting years, but let's just say over 30 years. I've been in the insurance world, and she has been in the insurance world over 24 years. So I feel like this is like, that family reunion of experts coming together. And she not only just she's president and CEO of B-Hub Insurance Club. She's an executive marketing director. She's a speaker. She's a mentor. She's a financial guru. And the list goes on. This lady is power packed. And I tell you, I bring on these experts because I want you to really get to know who they are, what they do, and not just in their own industry, but how they reach out. As this wonderful queen you're going to hear, she helps other people build upon their own and be legacies for themselves and be entrepreneurs. So I don't want to keep you waiting because this is for her, not for me, because we're spotlighting her. We will be right back and you will be able to get to know this wonderful queen. Barbara J. Beckley, and I'm a visibility and social media strategist. And we are back with the queen. Wonderful, wonderful Queen Brandy. Thank you so much. Before we even start the conversation and get into some good things that what you're doing, not just in your world, but for others, is thank you for coming on the Coaches Lounge. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I'm going to have to pay you later for that wonderful introduction.
That's on me.
Look, it's
oh, that's the love. Thank you so much. Yeah, I believe in my queen, so I'm gonna hype you up. Even though some days you don't want to hype yourself up, I'll be your hype woman.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yes. So, Miss Brandy, I want to first congratulate you for just being who you are and what you do in this world. I mean, like I was saying earlier, we need to show each other appreciation for what we do, especially when it comes to being in your executive, you're a CEO, you help others and learn what you have done where you're at right now. So I just want to congratulate you for that, because that takes a lot. It's not easy, and you've been doing it for quite a while. So
Yes.
give you your accolades now. And I always want to ask first, before we get into getting me some tips and stuff that you do as far as your expertise, but just pulling back. I always say pulling back that little curtain on how you got to be this magnificent triple threat, because you do so much.
It's interesting. I kind of sometimes we don't give ourselves, credit
Mm-hmm.
for where we were, where we've been and how far we've come.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I just never think about it. I just work every day. And it was so interesting because my son, he pointed out to me I would say a couple of weeks ago. He was like, Ma, he says, how do you do it? Like, how do you've been here. I can't ever remember a time when I came home from school and you weren't here.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've always lived a decent life and, in a decent neighborhood. And I never really, seen you go to work, you know what I mean? But we live this good life, and he said, so many people that try to be entrepreneurs, they end up having to go back to work. But
Mm-hmm.
you've done it for 24 years. And like that's what like gave me a moment to stop and say, oh, okay. Maybe it is a good, a great thing, right? Like,
Yes.
because I never really give myself credit. Like I just
You just.
take each day, day to
Mhm.
day. But and I was a single mom for many years,
Wow.
and I was a teenage mom.
Wow.
So you know how Les Brown say everybody got a story.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
That's what
when I
I.
think back, I had my daughter like 4 months before I turned 18.
Okay.
So I was a 17-year-old mom. And
Wow.
just to look at that, growing up in New York City, right? The big
Mm-hmm.
city, um, you
Yes.
know, and I was on my own at that time, so
Wow.
I
Mhm.
started, working young. I got out of school early, but I always wanted something different and something better for my life. And I've always been like someone to take, initiative. And I always had that ambition. And I was like, look, I don't know what I'm going to be, but I'm going to be somebody. So,
Whatever
you
it is,
know,
I'm going for it.
yep. So I think
Yes.
coming through that struggle, being a young teenage
Mm-hmm.
mom, knowing
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a better life for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I finished high school early, because I did like in New York City, I skipped a grade. And so I actually graduated high school when I was 16, which is good because, right? But
Yeah.
and then I went out into the working world. Now, originally I had wanted to be an attorney,
Mm-hmm.
but I did like an internship and I worked with
Mm-hmm.
them in like my last 2 years of high school. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know. I don't know about this. And but because I, had my daughter at such a young age, I said, well, let me go ahead and try this. So I was a legal secretary for many years, and then I ended up being a legal assistant. And then, I was like, I don't think this is for me because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to. It was tough. Like if you wanted to do your best, you would have to go on the partnership track. I mean, they had showers at where we worked at, girl. They wanted us to sleep there and
Wow.
yeah, showers, a sofa bed. Like it's like, oh no, this is not the life that I want. So I always
Yeah.
loved
That.
people. I always loved
Mm-hmm.
people. And I knew I wanted to do something that helped people. And I wanted to be able
Mm-hmm.
to feed my family, right? So I ran into a
Yes.
gentleman. I ran into a gentleman and he took me under his wing, and that's how I kind of landed in financial services, sort of. But I always wanted to know about finances and making sure my credit
Mm-hmm.
was right, my money was right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's
Mm-hmm.
how I ended up in this industry. And here I am 24 years later.
Wow. See, you never see. That's why I always like to hear the backstories, because you never know. where that turn of events happened, where now that where you're at now. And I'm glad that you patted yourself on the back, Queen, because you deserve that. Your son was right about you doing what you've been doing, working so hard, and then being an entrepreneur spirit that you have and that you've been showing and that you've been in leadership. Because I always tell people we're leaders when we can lead our own business or whatever we do and consistently do that so we can show up for yourself and for others. I want to just say too, to give you kudos. I know you were a young teenage mother. My bestie friend, now we were in high school together, she became a teenage mother, and her daughter, which is my goddaughter, had 4 godmothers. Because all of us was like, okay, if this happened, and we understand things happen, but we wanted to make sure that little girl knew the love at us as being teenagers.
That's
so
awesome.
It's I have to give you so much kudos for that, because like you said, you could have made a whole different decision by being a young mother, but you were determined to say, even though I have this lovely, precious gift, which was your daughter, you still decided to say, you know what, I got to do this now. Now I really got to do it. It's like, it's not just me anymore. It's another person in my life. So thank you for being that leader in that time too. So I just want to show you the love on that sense as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Because it wasn't easy, right?
No. Especially teenage years, first of all, teenagers just alone is kind of like, we're all getting to learn ourselves, and people, you know how all that goes. So, yeah. So I know it wasn't easy, but you chose the road to get you to where you wanted to go. And then you met another person that helped you get into this world of the financial, because insurance is a financial service. I always tell people that is the whole thing, to make the choice. See, I love your journey, because you was like, I think I want to be an attorney, and then you did the intern and stuff. You're like, yeah, I don't know about that.
They look crazy. They look no.
So you was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna change. So thank you for letting us know that part too, because I always tell people, you don't have to always stay where you think. You can always make that choice to say, no. Yeah.
And it's never too late.
It's never too late. And you're never, thank you for saying that, because some people feel like they get up a certain age too, when they be like, well, I'm kind of up there, I'm not gonna. No, I know people in the 80s and 90s that are just starting all over on some things. So yeah, you're never too late. So Queen, I want to ask you, because now that, like you said, present, that you are like this wonderful, amazing CEO of your company in the insurance world, and I know you also help others like with their entrepreneurship. Can you give us a little take on that?
Yeah, I mean, so basically, I like to say within our company, we're always on an educational movement, and we need help. The communities we serve. I mean, this is a topic that really needs to be discussed more. Helping people to get their financial house in order, especially in the economy and the environment we live in today.
Yeah.
Girl, I just went food shopping, and I took my grandson with me. And it's like $350. I was like, what did we buy the store? And even my grandson was like, She was like,
I know. When you got the grandchildren saying, what's going on with this?
He'll be 19 Friday. Oh, so I'm like, I said, but you wanted to be grown. He said, I changed my mind.
Tell him I want to change my mind too.
I was like,
for a while.
Yeah, so because I know how much this opportunity changed my life, especially, years ago when I was a single parent, and, being able to earn unlimited income as a single mom, it really changed my life.
Yes.
So, whenever you hear good news or you have great news you want to share, right? You want to tell the world about it. So I'm like, look, I love people, but especially like struggling single moms, I want to
Yes.
help you all to change your life so you could do better.
Yeah.
So I just went on this crusade, that listen, whatever you're doing, I mean, it doesn't mean you have to do what I'm doing full time, but if you just need to make some additional income, you know, come on board. I can show you how you can make ends meet so that you're not living paycheck to paycheck and you don't have more bills at the end of the month than you have money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I went
Yeah.
on that crusade and I started, looking for women who wanted to, change their life or just to have some extra income, right? So I started bringing people and recruiting women on board to our company. So I did that, and then I started mentoring, women as well. Not just to come work with me, but just to mentor them and helping them to find out what it is, what's their passion,
Yes.
like what is it that they want to do in life, and helping them to understand that whatever you really put your mind to, you can get it done. You just
Mhm.
have to have the right people in your circle, right? Because if you hang out with 10 broke folks, what are the chances you're gonna be the 11th?
Yep.
Right. So
That's a
look,
good
let's
way of putting it. I like that. I want to use that.
right. So let's change our circle, right? Let's get around people who can help us. Yeah,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
so I love and don't get me wrong, I work with men too.
Okay.
I
That's
do
good to
work with men too.
That's good.
But and then now I'm involved with a Women Who Lead program that's here in the Virginia area. That's how I met the wonderful Dr. Karen Hills Pruden. She's amazing, right?
Yes, that
Um,
lady is
they
wonderful.
have a wonderful Women Who Lead program out here in Hampton Roads area that I'm a part of. And there's a lot of amazing women who have done extremely well, whether it's in corporate America or
Mhm.
as an entrepreneur, or we have some women that do both. We like to call them
Mm.
entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, those who are on track that want to move up in the corporate world, or
Yes.
those who want to do both. Like, just because you're an
Mhm.
entrepreneur doesn't mean you have to walk away from your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So we just like pouring into women, and so
Yeah.
I love it. I'm passionate about it because in the world that we live in today, so
Yes.
many people are working 2 and 3 jobs. It's like there's no
And-
quality time for you to have with your family or your kids. It's just too
Mhm.
much. So I'm
Mhm.
just trying to help people to see that there are options. There are options out here.
Ooh, you know what? I'm so glad, Queen, that you are in this expertise lane because, like you said, I mean, like you were just talking about the groceries just the other day. Yeah, I went and got groceries for just a week and trying to eat because I changed my whole eating habits with more health, be more healthy with my eating. And I spent just 8 items. It was like $170 some. I was like, dang, I said, well, what did I get? I had to look in the bag again twice. So it is real, like you said, it is really
Mhm.
important to understand what's going on. And I was just looking at a statistic just a few months ago. They were talking about for women that are in a certain higher age bracket where they said only 7% out of 100% women are ready for retirement. And these are people like in their 50s and up. And I was like, what? I said,
Yeah.
they're not even at 10%.
And that number sounds too high.
Oh boy, Queen. See, that's what I'm talking. That's why we need you.
It's terrible. It's really sad. Queen Barbara, I'm gonna call you Queen because you're a queen too.
Thank
But
you.
it's really sad. Like, I sit down with a lot of women who are over the age of 50. I'm 58 myself.
Oh my God. I was gonna say because when you said grandson, I'm like, what? She looks like she's in high
Look,
school.
look, that's your cute. Look, that's your cue to say, "Girl, you look 25." Right?
You do. You do look young. That's when you said grandson, it was 19. I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah. So, it's just, I'm telling you, like, I sit down with some women who are over the age of 50,
Yeah.
and they have nothing. They
Mm,
have nothing saved. Um, I have
mm,
a young lady that I was working with a couple of weeks ago. She's
mm.
65.
Oh,
She
wow.
um she retired from the military,
Hmm.
but still has to work.
Yeah.
And she's like, Brandy, like, I look back on all the years that I've worked,
Yeah.
and I only have like $40,000
Hmm.
that I've saved.
Hmm.
She's like, I'm so embarrassed. I like, look, don't be embarrassed. We just got to figure out what can we do now,
Yes.
because she was like, I think I might have to work another 20 years. And it's sad because she's 65 now. But I
Yeah.
had a really good friend of mine whose grandmother was 82, and she
Mhm.
was a school crossing guard
Wow.
because she could not she had to work.
She had to work.
So we are in a retirement crisis.
Yes.
And a lot of people, I don't think they realize, some people think, oh, they're working because they want to. No,
Yeah.
no. A lot of people are working because they have to.
Yeah.
Who wants to be 82 years old
I
working?
know. Yeah. Yeah.
If we put a plan together and help you build wealth, at that age, it's so many things I can think of right now that I could do at home and be
Yes.
just fine without
Yeah.
working.
Me too.
And
No.
whether it be because I love to travel, whether it be to travel
Mhm.
the world, or whether it be to spend time with my grandkids and to help raise them, right? Which
Yes.
I've been blessed to do, from being an entrepreneur and being, having my own business,
Business.
having
Yeah.
that time freedom. Because here's the thing too, Queen Barbara, not everybody wants to be a millionaire.
No.
See,
No.
everybody has different priorities, right? Some
Yeah.
people want to just make enough money where I can work from home, but
Mhm.
have that time freedom. I
Yeah.
could travel when I need to. I could be here to help a sick loved one. I could
Mhm.
be here for my kids when they get home from school. Like,
Mhm.
it's the time freedom for me.
Mhm.
Like, if you made a good, strong six-figure income, hey,
Mhm.
I'm good with that, right? You know? So, it's because sometimes if you want to be a millionaire, you pay the price for being a millionaire.
For being a millionaire. Yeah. I was about to say that. Yeah.
You pay the
Yeah.
price. And, life goes by so quick. Like, I can't
Mhm.
believe my daughter just turned 40 this year. Where did 40 years go? Right?
Every
40,
time you say the age, and I look at you still, I'm like, I can't believe this. 40-year-old daughter.
40. You know what I'm saying? My son will be 30 this year.
Yeah.
But when I look back at that, I'm just so thankful that I was able to be there when they took their first steps, right? I was able to be there for those important moments.
Mhm.
That's priceless.
Yeah.
So when you think about, that's the things that I like to tell, especially women, because a lot of us, right, we take care of our parents, we
Mhm.
take care of our kids, we always taking care of everybody else,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, but what
Yeah.
about ourselves, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it's such a crisis, and we need to get people to think more about their future. And a lot of times, though, because they're struggling and they're
Yes.
living paycheck to paycheck, I hear so many times that, Brandy, I can't afford to save for retirement, but
Mhm.
in reality, you can't afford not to.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
So
right. Yeah. So you show them the way. I love how you have those avenues or just that talk. I can already tell with you have a heart for people where I know you're sitting down with them just saying, you know what, we have to find a way because you need to you don't want to be doing this the rest of your, like you said, 80 years old and still working. I always feel like we've been working all this time in our lives. We deserve to have that. Okay,
yeah,
let's have that break and do what we want to do and retire, right?
yes,
And even if you, because you know how some women say, well, I'll never retire. And I'm like, okay, I can hear you, but you still want to say to yourself, okay, if you still want to work, you want to do because you want to do it. You don't want to do because you have to do it.
exactly. And you want to do it on your own terms.
Terms, yeah. Not
Your own
because you need some food in the house, not because you got to pay a bill. You want to just do it because you just love doing it on your own terms, like you said.
hmm
Yeah.
And that's where being passionate about what you're doing comes in, right?
Yeah.
So depending on, like, I don't feel like I work, right? Because I'm passionate about helping
But
people
you
do what
do.
I do. So I don't look at it really as work, but that don't mean I want to be 80 years old still doing it.
No. I can see you still mentoring and helping other young
Mhm.
women out. That's what I can see
Right,
you doing still.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah. On your own terms.
right, right, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Queen,
So,
this has been awesome. I wanted to ask you one more question before because I want to give you just a few seconds to do any lasting thoughts. But one thing I was curious about in your bio, where you said ACA six figures income ring, can you?
yeah, you see that? Can you
Oh,
see
look at that! Uh-oh, look at shook
it?
it.
And it's so funny because on the last interview I did, right? I'm trying to bring it in close. You see
Yeah,
it?
that's beautiful, Queen. Ooh,
Um, I didn't have it on, and she was like,
go
but
get it, go get
right,
it.
go get it. And it's, it's just a ring, right? So, but it just signifies the hard work that I put in, helping the families, right? Because that's what it's all about. The more people you help get what they need and want,
Mhm.
the more that comes back to you, right? It's more
Oh,
happiness in giving than it is in receiving. And,
yeah.
a lot of times when you give, it just comes back full circle.
For circle.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's all that's about. The more people we serve, right? It's about being in service to others and
Mhm.
just trying to help people's lives be better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, it's rough out here.
Yeah, and we all need to stand strong with each other. And if you have that knowledge and that expertise, and that's why I love what you're doing, we need to be there for others to give that because a lot of times people are not aware.
Hmm.
I'm just finding out that some it's either people are embarrassed to say where they're at, just like you said, some women that you talk to, they're like, "Oh my God, I haven't. I'm 50 some
Hmm.
years old. I don't even have 10K," or some people just not aware that there's other vehicles that they can use to get money in. I'm not saying be a millionaire in one day, but at least
Hmm.
you can show them the way of let's start putting something to the side for you,
But
right?
see, that's the other issue, Queen Barbara. Everybody, we live in a microwave society. Everybody
Mhm.
wants everything like right now.
Like
So when
that.
you tell them, look, if you just put $100 a month away or $200 a month away in 10 years, you have 300,000. 10 years, you know what I'm saying? And it's like before you know it, that 10 years is gone and they have nothing because
Mhm.
they were just thinking about, well, that sounds so far away. I need something to
Mhm.
happen now. Everybody's chasing,
Yeah.
that idea of get rich quick, and it don't
Mhm.
happen. I'm sorry. There's no quick way to success. There's no elevator, right, to success. You got to take the stairs. It's a process, right? And you might fall back down them stairs a few times.
A few times, but just
Okay. You got to get back up and start back over, right? So, that's the difference. Like there's really no difference. I tell people all the time, they say, "Oh, Brandy, you have such a great personality." No, it's just I'm willing to put the work in. You
yes.
think I don't get no's, you think that I don't have bad days. It's not always, peachy king, right? It's been times when it's been feast or famine. You know what I mean? But the
Yes.
only difference between you and me is I don't quit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we may get to our destination at different times.
Mhm.
Everybody's circumstances are different.
Mhm.
Everybody may be dealing with different things. So,
Mhm.
but if my goal is to be a doctor, it might take me the 10 years that it normally takes. But it
Yeah.
might take somebody else 20 years. But they like, hey, long as I get there.
As long as yeah, they're in that, they're moving.
Right, right, right. So, the whole idea of the matter is just doing the best you can, getting 1% better each day. You know what
Love
I'm saying? And before
that.
we go, I do want to talk about life insurance because life insurance is a vehicle that
Yes.
can help you to create generational wealth. There's so many myths and misconceptions about life insurance.
Mhm.
And I'm really passionate about that because so many people don't have insurance, they're underinsured, or
Yeah.
they only rely on their job.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that don't understand their true value of what
Mhm.
they bring to the table. I don't
Mhm.
care if you make $25,000 a year. If you
Mhm.
live in a household where people rely on that income, right?
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
you weren't to come home tomorrow, that person could suffer a financial devastation. You're already going through an emotional devastation.
Yeah.
Why add a financial devastation on top of that? So, at minimum, and this is minimum, bare minimum, the average person should have at least 10 times their income.
Yes.
And I hear so many people say, "Oh, I got plenty of insurance. I have 100,000, 100,000." Yeah. So that
Mhm.
means if something happens to you today, your
Mhm.
husband and kids will be okay for 1 year.
Mm.
Then where are they going? And especially if they rely on your income. So now we have a house and a mortgage that
Yeah.
I can't stay in this house because I needed your income. So now I got to change zip codes. And usually, if I got to change zip codes, it
Mhm.
ain't going up, it's going backwards.
Worst. I'm telling you,
You
Queen.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and why not leave a legacy, right?
Yeah.
Instead of debt.
Yes.
Because I get tired of hearing people say, I ain't leaving that person nothing. They could just bury me in a box. How inconsiderate is that? Right? So, girl, I could go on and on and on, but
I
you
love
know,
it. That's your passion. I love it. I love it. It's coming out. You're so true. I'm glad you did bring that up about the life insurance and how important that particular, like I said, certain vehicles that you can use and don't take it for granted. I'm glad that you mentioned the fact too about some people feel like, okay, I got life insurance at my job. I'm good. I'm good. I keep
what
telling
happens if
people,
you lose that job?
thank you. That's it. You lose your job, you lose coverage.
Right. What happens if you go on? Now, this is the one point that people don't think about. And this is a true story. It happened to one of my clients. What happens if you get sick, you have no more leave, and you have to go on leave without pay?
Mm.
If you're on leave without pay, guess what that means? Okay, the job is nice enough to say, okay, I'm going to hold your position, but
Mhm.
you're on leave without pay. If you're on leave without pay, guess what they can't do? They can't take money out of your check to cover what? Benefits.
There you go.
So
Bingo.
now you left your livelihood, your family's livelihood in the hands of your job. And now you have no coverage. Now you might be dealing with a medical issue where you can't even get coverage.
Mhm.
People are not protecting their children. I mean, we live in a world where, unfortunately, some people are scared to send their kids to school, right?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
don't know what can happen.
Mhm.
So, God forbid something happened to one of our kids. My kids are grown, but if something happened to them, I'm not trying to go back to work in 3 days.
Nope. Yeah.
So, you have to, that's why I like to
Mhm.
say it's an educational movement because I want people to
Mhm.
think outside the box and
Yes.
understand how that vehicle can help, like, just change your family's legacy. It can help close the income gap because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, Queen Barbara, if let's say your parents, God forbid, passed away, but they left you $500,000, would
Mhm.
that have made a difference in your life?
Mhm.
Could that have maybe helped you get the house you always wanted, or put your kids through an Ivy League school, or pay for a wedding, or help you start a business that you always
Yeah.
wanted?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see, so if we know
Mhm.
better, we should do better. And
Thank
we
you.
need to think better because life
Yes.
insurance could do so many things. It can help you to create that legacy. It can help you to close that income gap. It can help you to change the trajectory of
Yes.
your family's tree.
Yes. Definitely. Ooh, Queen. See, I gotta have you for a part two. So we get on a roll. I'm loving this. I told you, you're like my sister, and especially in this particular industry, is the insurance, the financial world. So I'm loving it. So what I need to make sure though, because you gave so much that people should be taking notes right now. But any lasting thoughts? I want to give you at least 30 seconds to leave any lasting thoughts. I want to take myself down and you can share with the audience. I'll be right back.
So here's the question. Is your financial house in order, right? There's so many things that can help you put your financial house in order. Emergency funds. Are you planning properly for retirement? Do you have enough life insurance coverage? What about estate planning? We didn't even have a chance to really talk about estate planning. Let me tell you this. If you don't have a will or a trust, If you don't have a plan in place, the government will have one for you. So we help people with estate planning, because I'm gonna tell you right now, some people say, well, I don't need a will, I don't have nothing. But I've seen families fight over pots and pans. Okay. But it's not just about having the will, but it's your power of attorney. Like, because this happened to my sister recently, where she went in for a simple procedure and the doctor accidentally cut her bowels, and she was in the hospital from January and she just got home in July. But she didn't have, any power of attorney or anything in place. Who's going to make your medical decisions for you if something like that happens, right? There's so many things to think about. Do you need an extra few dollars, right, to help you make ends meet? All of these things that we can discuss. So, I know we didn't have a lot of time to talk about everything, but hit me up. My number is in the scroll there. My website is there. I would love to chat with you. I offer free consultations. Let's make sure your financial house is in order.
Yes, I love it. Love it. Thank you, Queen. I am so glad that you came to the Coaches Lounge to give us some insight, some wisdom, some awareness, and just some love and laughs. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And you're always your family now, so hey, we need to come back. I'm serious. Doing the second part, talk about, like you just said, the planning. People forget about. It's just so much that we can do. I mean, you can do like a workshop every week with this.
Yeah, because it's a lot of information. It really is.
Yeah, but I always tell people, just make sure that whatever information you get, take it in. Listen to what Queen Brandy was saying about this. And if it's a situation that you're dealing with, don't be embarrassed about it. Just get the help for it. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do is just go and say, you know what? I'm in this situation. I don't have to stay here. Let me go see what can be done. That's all. That's what we're saying. So thank you, Queen Brandy, for giving us that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if anybody else is interested in coming on the Coaches Lounge with myself and these awesome experts like Queen Brandy showing up today, just to help, like I said, not to only share your light as a coach, educator, and mentor, as I say, but to share what you do for others. That's what's so important right now. So we will see you next time. And again, as I always tell people, your light, your diamond factor, as I call it here, let it shine, not just for yourself, but shine for others. Take care.
Introducing the Diamond Factor Network, where we turn your business into a beacon of success. Imagine having your TV streaming show reaching audiences far and wide. It's possible with the Diamond Factor Network. Unlock the power of your brand with our state-of-the-art TV streaming platform. Your show, your way. Feature highlights, customized shows, global reach, and professional support. Coaching by Barbara J. Beckley, Purpose Visibility, and social media strategist. Ready to elevate your brand? Join the Diamond Factor Network today and let your brilliance light up the world. Shine bright, because your success is our priority.